Hi, it's Jack Sweeney, and we're here with the CFO of Philips Latin America, Ronald Eikelenboom. And Ronald, you went through quite a large outsourcing transaction recently. All of Latin America is now being outsourced at Philips to Infosys. And just if you could take us back in time, perhaps. And I know this all began to happen shortly after your arrival.
Right.
And in fact, it was sort of a historic deal not only for Philips, but perhaps Infosys as well. So maybe you can help set the stage for us and explain
Sure.
what happened here.
It all started in September 2008, when I was asked to become the CFO for Philips in Latin America, which we all know now was 1 month before the global crisis really hit the markets and became a reality. And in the middle of that crisis, when I started to learn and understand what Philips Latin America was about and how the finance function was established, we got to talk to Infosys in almost the same period. Infosys was looking at Latin America to expand the scope of the almost global contract we signed as Philips with Infosys in 2007, when we sold the 3 in-house shared service centers Philips has created over the last years, when we sold them in one go to Infosys, which was for them their largest BPO deal ever since. But it excluded Latin America, and it excluded Latin America for reasons of, a non-harmonized IT system, everywhere. There was a lot of legacy systems. So the reasons why Latin America was excluded were partly because of the Philips internal organization and the aligned system landscape with the group, and because of local complexity in the way business is done and the structure to do business in countries like Brazil and the rest of Latin America. But for me, at that moment, it started to emerge as an opportunity to align the transition of the finance function within Philips to the rest of the group. So really leveraging the global structure and the global functions within our company to also better serve Latin America as the head of finance. And at the same time, Infosys saw this as the right moment 1 year after the deal had was really working out well, and it was implemented in 2007, and it started to really be a proven cooperation. They started to look for growth and for expansion in Latin America.
Had you tackled anything similar? You were previously the CFO of Philips Turkey, is that right? And so then you get this assignment. Was there anything you had done that had prepared you for what you were going to undertake?
Well, not as, let's say, the initiator of that move, but certainly as the CFO of Turkey and the Middle East, I was experiencing what this contract and the outsourcing within Philips meant, and how it was done between Philips and Infosys. And knowing deeply at that moment how complicated Turkey is, from a language point of view, from the law and from all the changes, even deep into the Middle East, and having the experience that it went very smoothly with high quality and high engagement and high focus on people values, I realized that if it's possible in a country difficult as Turkey, why wouldn't it be possible in Brazil? And the deep knowledge I had of Turkey, I kind of fortunately lacked in Brazil. So I knew it was complicated, but I was not aware of let's say, all the complexity that it took. Otherwise, I might have not taken the decision at that time. But we said if it's possible in the Middle East and in Turkey, it should be possible in Brazil. It might be a little bit more difficult, but it should be possible.
So let's ask the sort of standard question: what do you wish you knew back in 2007, perhaps, when you first headed down this path? What do you wish someone told you then? Something you know now that you wish you knew then.
If I had known back then, what I know right now, would I be as courageous to go this route, or would I have been convinced and allowed me to be convinced of the reasons why it was not done yet, and why it was so complex and so risky to do it. But in the end, in hindsight, fortunately, I lacked that knowledge, and I was courageous enough to trust in the quality of the engagement with Infosys and the quality of our company in order to absorb and to really align the Latin America region in its global structure, and to kind of embrace it as part of the Philips Group.
Part of what you talked about was how Infosys, in fact, opened an office there in Brazil as well, and this relationship with Philips allowed them to get the toehold there and establish themselves there as well. Can you share how perhaps these two companies together have enjoyed some of the strategic synergies of outsourcing?
Right. Well, that was basically from the first moment that we started to talk together. It was clear that we were both very aligned in what we wished to realize and to take on for Latin America. Infosys, they were really eyeing for the next wave of growth for their BPO into the Latin America territory, because there's hardly any BPO going on there. The market is not mature, and the landscape is complicated. So it was a total alignment of objectives to really go in this together, and that was combined with previous experience from my side and the experience from Infosys with the company and the high quality company Philips is, and the trust that we could make this together. So it was a total alignment. But even that is on a pretty high level. You can totally, let's say, agree and have let's say, a joint strategy with the leadership of Infosys and the leadership of Philips. Before our people and our organizations are really behind this and involved in this, it takes longer. And one of the important moments that you referred to was the opening of Infosys, really to invest and to build something concrete on the ground in Brazil. Was a very important moment for people to realize that it is a reality, that it's really happening. So it was an important milestone to show from Infosys, to show the commitment to really make this work and to be here with us and for us. And for the Philips organization, it was kind of a wake-up call that it is seriously going to happen. Despite the complexity, despite all the difficulties, it showed very much the determination of the strategy that it might be a little bit more difficult, but it's not impossible.
Is there, what can you tell us about, is there a proof of concept already? Have you seen it in your financials? Is it a success? How do you measure the success now that it's only 2.5 years later?
Well, it's 2.5 years. It's on a global scale, and there what we measure is obviously the customer satisfaction of our business units, whether they are served well by the entity of the Philips Shared Business Service Finance with their back office Infosys. So all the accounting is now for almost 90% of all the accounting staff in Philips is centralized in the Philips Shared Business Service Finance, and there's another 1,700 people working in Infosys to service. So what the proof of concept is the satisfaction of the business units, and that satisfaction continues to climb and build. In terms of cost savings and return on investment, we keep a very close eye globally on whether the costs are really coming down. We moved from resource-based tariffing to transaction-based tariffing, a big step in terms of, let's say, even more variabilizing the cost and being able to drive improvements further. In Brazil, in Latin America, we have now Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and just this month Panama to be serviced by Infosys. And there you start, of course, to feel and to measure the disturbance, the risks, the mistakes. So is it seamless enough? And there, from a quality point of view, I have to say that it is very well, let's say, rolling out. And in terms of disturbance, hardly anything. And then we have a commitment on the business case with Infosys. So on the hard financials, they have committed to bring a return on investment that is now, let's say, a fully shared responsibility, if not their responsibility to deliver to us and for us to facilitate and to be in this together.
Ronald, thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.